Yes, I saw the news. My heartfelt, honest reaction is something akin to this. No! No, God! No! Broky is coming back to FaZe Clan. The simple dream is on hold for now, and the last shred of happiness I had in my body has just left to go get milk, and I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. Yeah, we're gonna try our best to spin this and take a look at what a Broky return can actually look like. But yeah, this sucks. I hate it. And if I could kill it, I legally would. The roster move, by the way, these guys are all lovely individuals. I don't mean any harm. Well, you guys should, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, because I deserve something nice today. You know, forget the algorithm, forget the 10K subs by the end of the year. Do this because I deserve some good, just something nice today, alright? And lastly, before we get started, I would like to thank today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Skins Monkey, a CS2 trading website. You put in the skins that you want to trade, you select what you want, you use my code LionHeartZ for up to $5 off, or click the top link in the description, and boom, new drip.
Nice.
You can also use my code for a 35% deposit bonus if you want to buy with real money. And they have a free section with cool giveaways. So check the top link in the description, use my code to buy 15 Dragon Lores to let them know I sent you their way, and thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Oh hey, by the way, right at the beginning, I was too lazy to record other demo gameplay. This is just leftover stuff from various videos. Just throw me on the other monitor. I know you already do it, but just throw me on the other monitor. So we already touched on this a little bit in a previous video, talking about the news, or the leaks at the time, that Simple would not be getting signed to FaZe. I objectively, empirically, in my soul, without any shred of a doubt, think this is the wrong move by FaZe, and why they are not doing this can only be speculated at. I'm assuming that Na'Vi are run by a bunch of idiots who refuse to make the buyout reasonable, and they are going to force Simple to waste out his time till his contract expires, or they decide to bring him back into Na'Vi. Simple wanted to go to FaZe. FaZe wanted Simple. The chemistry there seemed really good. FaZe seemed really committed to making Simple a part of their identity with all the branding, the videos, everything. By all indications from the outside looking in, it looked like this deal was supposed to happen, but some act of God and or devil and or demon has prevented that from being a reality. So now Simple won't be playing CS again. I'm sad, and we're staring down the barrel of Broky coming back because FaZe had no time to sign anybody else. So for Broky, the situation is even worse because Broky was benched for being bad, sat on the bench for 2 months, and is now being brought back last minute because FaZe need a goddamn warm body. How the hell are you supposed to be Broky? You were told you weren't good enough. 2 months later, you're brought back out of necessity, and you're supposed to play well under that pressure, under those expectations? How does that affect your mental? I can't know. If I'm Broky, where's the charitability left? Where is the loyalty left? You know the roster. You know the team didn't want you anymore, and now you have to come back because they have no other option, and you're forced to play? Like, what are you supposed to do in those circumstances? How are you supposed to be motivated? How are you supposed to be invigorated to compete at the highest level when that's the circumstance that brings you back into the fold? Like, I can't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't have those connections, so I can only speculate. But good lord, is there just some rat fuckery going on here? Was Na'Vi not making it clear to FaZe that Simple wasn't available for sale? Because again, all the presentation to the media is that Simple to FaZe was not just a short-term thing. They looked like they were going to bring him in no matter what. Did Na'Vi just not let FaZe know they didn't want to sell? Did FaZe just lose all their money at the last moment? Like, what the fuck are we doing? I just want some answers, man. I just want some clarifications. I feel like at a certain point, these organizations like owe it to the public to make these things more transparent. Like, if Simple was not available for purchase, that should have been known right away. Like, just transparency would be nice with these contracts. That's one of the biggest issues with esports, is that contracts and buyouts are ambiguous. It's not like traditional sports where the details of a contract are publicly known, and if a team goes to make a trade, you know, that information is made available to the public in very clear terms. All esports contracts should be publicly available for us to view, at least in terms of duration and buyouts. The fact that buyouts are ambiguous just makes the whole thing much more muddy for us to discuss as fans and pundits, and I hate it. I just hate it, dude. And I hate it even more that Simple's going to be stuck again. Like, you can go watch the whole other video. That was me more focused about Simple. It sucks. Let's turn our attention to Broky. What can we make of this situation as Faze going into this season? Well, Broky's had some time to step away. Could it be that Broky could kind of, look inward, look back at the mistakes he was making as an individual and try and rectify that and reassess what his game could be? Because let's keep in mind, I was actually working on a video about this specific subject before the move was announced. I was hoping to get out ahead of time, but didn't. But I did a very significant deep dive onto Broky's statistics during 2024 into 2025 up until he was benched. As we all know, during the first half of CS2, the end of 2023, start of 2024, Faze was the dominant team up until Navi won the Copenhagen Major. They were in damn near every grand finals, they were making it deep into every tournament, and Broky was one of the absolute best players in the world. During that 6-month stretch to start off 2024, Broky was averaging a 1.14 rating with a 1.06 impact stat. He had great overall metrics, his average firepower, both the AWP and the M4 were significant, and compared to his stats at the end of his tenure, his overall aggressiveness was higher. He was going for more opening attempts on both sides, CT and T, and was having more success when he did so. His clutching was arguably his greatest utility. He was one of the best clutch players in the entire world. But as we get past the Copenhagen Major and Faze began to slip up, his stats saw a steady decline. Overall, not just in significant impact stats like we just touched on, but also in overall volume. His number of kills was simply going down. Even though Faze were still making top 8, top 16 at the majority of the events they attended, they were making it to the playoffs more often than not, but Broky's output as an individual was just on a steady downward trend. After the Copenhagen Major, he only had 3 LAN events where he had an elite rating as an individual. Elite in this context being above a 1.10 rating on HLTV. That was the EWC at the start of the season in the second half of 2024, which don't care about the EWC. It was 4 maps, Banana Cup, don't care. The Blast Fall Finals, where he just smurfed, even though Faze got exited early in the quarterfinals. He had a 1.27 rating in that tournament. By far his best tournament as an individual in the last 2 years. And then PGO Bucharest, before he was getting benched in 2025, where he had exactly a 1.11 rating. Other than that, it's been pretty up and down for Broky, with some massively disastrous fall-offs, especially in big playoffs. So for a Broky renaissance, for a Broky resurgence, the number one thing I want to see is Broky be a more focal point of the setup from Kerrigan to begin with. Kerrigan needs to prioritize Broky getting activated in their matches almost above all else. Because here's the thing, Broky doesn't need to be an aggressive entry-level opper. That's never been his bag. I talked about him being an aggressive player in one of my videos about that. I definitely worded that wrong. Broky is aggressive in the sense that his opping style is incredibly high stakes. He wants to get in your face in low man situations and shotgun op his way to victory. And so he'll often go for very high risk shots, and when he's hitting, he has some of the best, and I do not understate this whatsoever, some of the best op highlights in a long time are Broky hits. When he is hitting his shots, he is incredible. So Broky needs to get into situations where he can be more available to get these kinds of plays. I do think Broky needs to do what Shiro has done and look to increase his opening attempt rates on especially the T side. By the time he was looking to get benched here in 2025, he was down around a 9% opening attempt rate on the T side, and that is far too low for your opper to be successful. Even the most passive oppers in the world, Shiro, Device, Sunpayas, whoever you take, they're usually around 12-13% in opening attempt rates. Below 10 is way too passive, and that's one thing I harped on a lot in that inconsistency Broky video, is that he was so passive to the point that there were rounds where he was doing nothing other than throwing nades and planting the bomb. And that can't be a thing. Because here's the other big switch up that Faze have to make. Kerrigan and Rain are old. I don't know if you guys knew this. They are old. However, the traditional Faze style for several years has been Kerrigan and Rain sharing a large proportion of the opening attempt rates on their T side. Now, a lot of that was for the byproduct of previous lineups like with Twist, Rops, and Frozen, were more passive, lurky, third man in style players. So Rain and Kerrigan had to share the lion's share of the opening attempts just out of necessity. But even now with the Liege, Kerrigan and Rain both take up a large majority of opening attempt rates still. And I think they both need to decrease their output just a little bit, and Broky needs to increase it to compensate. Because if Broky and Bubblesj can have a plurality of rounds where they are the ones trying to get these openers, then Faze can really reinvent their offensive approach. Because now you can shift Rant and Kerrigan into different roles and different map control sets and add more variety into the playbook. At the end of the day, Broky just needs to be way more involved in the offense than he has been in previous iterations of Faze. So Broky needs to take that initiative, he needs to get slightly more aggressive, he needs to get his confidence back and believe in his shot. Because there's nothing worse than what we saw at the end of Broky's tenure in Faze, where he was passive, he was scared, and he was missing easy shots. That Broky will sink this Faze. It will be too reliant on Bubblesj and Frozen to carry, and it will not be tenable. Your Opper cannot be so supportive and so passive as Broky was before he was benched. We need big game Broky. We need highlight reel Broky. I need the Broky who was undoubtedly one of the best Oppers in the world through 2023 and the first half of 2024. Am I disappointed by this move? Yes. 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 However, I don't think it's impossible for Faze to make this look better than many people are expecting. Broky is a professional. He is one of my favorite players to watch when he plays to his strengths. And I'm choosing to believe that this time away was enough for him to figure out what he needed to be successful in Counter-Strike again. He's 24 years old. There's no way he's washed up yet, I hope. And if anyone can help him figure it out, god damn it, I believe in Kerrigan more than anybody else in my life, damn near. If me, your local village idiot, can make these observations about Broky's stats and impacts, I'm assuming that Kerrigan, one of the best minds Counter-Strike will ever see, can make similar observations. So we'll have to see. This is the lineup for Faze for now, and I just hope it's gonna be the least amount of train wreck it could possibly be. That's what I have to say. Alright guys, like, comment, subscribe, 10K by the end of the year. Thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description, go try out their website. Thank you to Skins Monkey. Shout out to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, Bill Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Van Der I'm Flashbang, Snowy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, LBKcs, Snax Enjoyer, Crunchy Water, zerotwocs. If you want to come and channel member, you can do so. Link down below for always want to continue the video just like this was customer on the community Discord. Thank you to our channel members. Make sure you follow Metro Series, LionHeartZ too. Bye.